If every time you start to expand, something seems to fall apart, this might not be random. Hi, I'm Kelly. I teach on energy, rituals, witchcraft, leadership, and navigating growth without abandoning yourself and your truth and your values, and also just getting to grow and expand with that because your values will change. Today, we're talking about chaos cycles, what they are, why they happen, and how you unknowingly feed into them, and how to reclaim your power even when everything feels like it's falling apart. If you have been finding yourself overwhelmed or reactive or stuck in the same chaos patterns over and over again, this video is for you. So, there's something that I call a chaos loop. It's when life feels loud, overwhelming, or reactive, and instead of moving through it, you get stuck inside it. But here's the thing about chaos loops. They can actually be sneaky because sometimes things can actually feel fine, but you're just continuing to do the same pattern that's actually hurting you over and over again. And there's different types of chaos. Some can be very big chaos, um, or like collective chaos, things like that, but some can be really small. So people stay stuck in these loops for a few reasons. One is that it feels familiar, right? Some people learned early that they thrived in chaos, okay? Or they were taught that they could thrive in chaos. They're constantly busy. They're ticking off endless to-do lists. They're solving everyone else's problems, right? So calm, an open schedule, a slower day can feel really foreign to the body, okay? Second, chaos keeps you small, right? It keeps you playing small. It keeps you safe, right? At first, the ego wants to keep you in safety. So if you're stuck in these chaos and these old pattern loops, then you're gonna not do as much and not expand as much as you possibly could. So if you're overwhelmed, if you're confused, if you're scattered, right? You're not going to have that energy to step into your next level. You're not going to have that energy to execute the plans that you want to execute for your business, right? Ego loves that, okay? Third, your energy can also become stuck in the collective. So if you're obsessing and consuming, constantly consuming news or social media, other people's emotions, you're leaking power without even realizing it. You're just giving it all away, right? And underneath all of this is an even harder truth that sometimes you might be afraid of your own power. So think of a recent moment where chaos hit, like an unexpected bill, or if you were launching, you felt really vulnerable. Maybe you had a health scare, you saw something online that put you into a spiral, right? Other things is just, your tire keeps popping, or your house always feels like a mess. Your weekends are always full. You don't set boundaries with people, so you're constantly saying yes to things you want to say no to, right? All of those things are kind of chaos moments. But when you finally hit your limit and you feel so overwhelmed, which overwhelm is a choice, that's not for today, but it can be a choice. Did you keep thinking about what you were stuck in? Did you call multiple people to talk about what happened? Did you start frantically cleaning, what I call procrastinating? Did you doom scroll? Did you go numb? What was your fallback behavior? Because it's oh, I'm so overwhelmed with my messy house. I'm going to go sit on my couch and get on my phone instead of setting a timer for 20 minutes and cleaning, right? We want to look at the fallback behavior, the coping behavior, and not to judge them by any means. I mean, I would say one of my biggest fallback behaviors, for being real here, is probably TV. I'm pretty picky about the TV I consume, in the sense I don't like super violent things and that type of stuff, but I'd say that's my fallback. I used to just create so much content for Instagram when I was avoiding shit. So what are your coping mechanisms? What are your fallback behaviors, right? And that's going to show you where you leak your power. So chaos is not an enemy. Stuff's going to happen, right? Things are going to go down. Things are going to go down. That's just life, right? Stuff's going to happen. We're going to lose people. We're going to have fights. We're going to lose friends. If we have a business, we're going to be launching different things, learning different things, moving through different things. Okay? So chaos is gonna happen. The goal is not to completely get rid of chaos. Okay, the goal is not to completely get rid of chaos. Truly. It's about how you respond to the chaos instead of reacting. So for me, a lot of my chaos loops exist in the mind, right? And not just with full rumination, but I'll be thinking a ton about something instead of taking action on it. I will be over processing something that someone said to me, right? That's a way to keep me focused on something else that's not my expansion. It's a way to keep me not focused on gratitude or what I'm excited about, right? It's a way to keep me stuck in the past. So I know if I'm having a thought loop, that's chaos. And you don't have to live inside of chaos. So the next time you feel that loop, that chaos loop starting, maybe in your mind or your body, or you feel like, oh, we got an unexpected bill, I'm gonna lose my shit. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. This is my first like real video upload. Anyways. Anywho, I want you to ask yourself, I want you to stop your body and ask yourself, what do I need right now? A lot of times that's what does my body need right now? Not what's going to help me avoid making a decision, not what's going to distract me, but what's going to help me bring me out of here and into my body. So, that might be shift, like doing a ritual, journaling, grounding, reconnecting to spirit. But it can also be like going on a walk, eating a meal, taking a hot shower, running, dancing, right? Come back to the body before you then try to take the action. So there was a time last year where someone was injured on our property, and I felt really bad. Like initially, like in the moment, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is horrible." This is an accident, of course, but in the past, I feel like it could have taken me months or even years to move through just the pain and chaos of that. But because of the work I've done, I was able to move it out within hours and days, right? Not because it wasn't intense, but because I was like, I'm choosing not to live inside the loop. And that's the difference. As soon as it happened, like, and they left for the hospital, I could feel myself starting to spiral. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put my tennis shoes on. I went on a walk and I cried and I talked it out with someone and I cried some more, right? And then I was able to go back and finish my work for the day instead of just totally ghosting myself and my needs. So it's really it's so much about care for yourself as well. It's not, we want to get to a place where like, okay, life's gonna life. Okay, chaos gonna chaos. Stuff's gonna happen. How do I react and or respond? Right? What is my responses versus what is my reaction? And really thinking about, do I react by going and doom scrolling? Right? Or do I respond by making myself a warm meal and doing some journaling? It can be a quick 1 minute, 2 minute thing. It doesn't have to be crazy, but I just want you to think about the things that keep showing up in your life that you do not like, right? Ask yourself, where am I feeding chaos in my life? And like, how does that take my power away? Where am I leaking power, right? And what would it feel like to keep moving even when chaos is happening? Just thinking about those. And if this resonates, feel free to subscribe. I share weekly energy updates and grounded teachings for spiritual business owners, navigating growth without losing themselves. And also just if you don't own a business, like if you want to have more income and more impact, then you're welcome here.